Hey everyone, today we are here with my vintage National Type F-40XNA 16-inch pedestal fan. And what we are going to do in this video today is take it all apart, give it a good cleaning, and oil the motor. So we're just going to get right to it now. And we'll start by removing the front cage. Just undo the cage clips around the perimeter here. It's very easy. The next step will be removing the blade. We'll need a screwdriver for that since this fan uses a set screw to fasten it onto the motor shaft. The knob on the front is a bit of a red herring because it looks like you would loosen it to remove the blade, but you actually have to undo a set screw. And just to be helpful, I'll point that out to you. And it's just right there. The next step will be to remove the rear cage. And that's just held on with 4 screws that you need to undo. It's a relatively straightforward process to get the rear cage off. I like the design of this with the spiral grill bars on it. We'll now remove the oscillating knob and proceed to remove the rear housing from the motor. You just undo a couple of Phillips head screws to do this. The screw that holds the oscillator knob on is a beautiful machine screw. This is workmanship that you just don't see anymore. This is an all-steel housing, by the way. It really is nice to see a fan that's got mostly metal construction on it. There is very little plastic on this piece of equipment. And the housing just slides right off. We will now use a soft brush to remove most of the loose dust from this. There's not really a whole lot in it, but this is just part of the process that I like to do. And here's a downward look at the rear of the motor. There are actually 2 oil ports back here, one for the main motor wick and another one down near the oscillator gearbox. It's covered by a piece of felt wicking. We're going to remove the front cover of the motor just to see if we can find the front oil port for it. We couldn't really find a front oil port on the motor. We tried removing this plastic bushing that locates the front grille, but it didn't seem to want to budge, and I didn't really feel like breaking this thing. So we just left it as is. We'll now give the rear oil ports some service with our zoom spout oil. I pretty much use this to lubricate most of my fans. Give the rear oil port a good drink of oil. And then we'll remove the little wicking plug to lubricate the motor down near the gearbox. We'll now turn the fan around to face front here, and I'll show you the situation with the front bearing. There is felt wicking that is down inside this bore here. We're going to tilt the motor back so you can get a good look at it. You just have to loosen the thumb screw up a little bit and the motor goes back. And I'll give you a bit of a close-up shot here of the inner bore here. You can see that there's felt all the way around there. And what we're just going to do is use our zoom spout bottle to just give that a good drink of oil and give it a little bit of a soak. So that's what we're doing here. We're just going to wipe off any dirt that we see here. And we'll now remove the cover over the oscillating gears. We just remove a couple of Phillips head screws here. You do have to partially loosen the rear blue cover on the back of the motor to do this. And we'll pull the cover off and reveal the oscillating gears. Now the gears themselves actually look to be pretty well lubricated. This fan was given to me by a friend, and he did tell me that he had serviced this fan, but I did want to break it open and check things out for myself. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it back together again since no real attention is needed in the gearbox at this point. And assembly really is just the reverse of taking it apart. We're now going to wipe down the motor housing. Just give that a good cleaning inside and outside. And we'll clean off the front housing as well. Sorry about having this off camera. But I think you get the process where you're really just wiping it down with a paper towel. And we'll start reassembly by putting that piece back onto the front of the motor. And we'll now give the blades a bit of a brushing down. We'll kind of wipe things down as well. And we're brushing out the rear inner part of the hub here. This is sort of an important step. And we'll brush off the cage assemblies as well. Nothing to it really. And we'll get the rear cage assembly here. Just brush it off real quick. And we'll go ahead and start reassembling the fan. We'll put the rear cage assembly on first. We'll line it up with its screw holes and replace those 4 screws that secure it in place. Just got to find them. Okay, we'll turn the fan around to front here and get the screws put back in that hold it to the rear motor cover. You want to tighten everything down pretty good, but not over tighten it, of course. And we'll now grab the blade and put that on here. Remember, the set screw is right here, and we need to line that up with this mark here, this hole in the shaft, so that way the set screw doesn't put a mark or booger up your motor shaft. So we'll get it put on here and line things up. I'll have to pull it forward a little bit so we can line it up to the hole. And then we'll tighten down our set screw. Sorry you can't really see this. The blade is concealing what we do here. Now with the set screw, once you ensure you have it in the proper area to line up with that hole, you really kind of want to tighten it down pretty tight so that it doesn't come loose on you. There's a lot of forces at work here. And you've seen my videos about loose blades. We'll now give these blades a good clean down with spray weight glass cleaner. It's again one of my favorite products to use for this. And we'll now put the front cage back on. Get it all lined up here. Get the hang hook put in. And then it's just a matter of refastening all the clips. And that's the front of the fan all put together. Now what we need to do is turn it back around sideways and put the rear motor cowling and the oscillator knob back on. So we'll go ahead and move the camera a little closer here so you can see what we're doing. And then we'll grab the rear motor cover and get it ready to put on here. Give it a final little wipe down, of course. There was a bit of dust inside this thing. We'll just slide it back on like we took it off. It's a relatively straightforward process. And it just slid home here. We just have to move it around a little bit now to line it up with the oscillator knob. And we'll put in the rear screw that fastens the cowling on. And with this screw, you really just want to get it relatively good and snug. There's no need to over tighten anything. We'll now get the oscillator knob on and put that screw back in. We're just going to cycle it a few times to make sure everything seems to engage and disengage correctly. And here's a look at the finished fan. It certainly does look a bit nicer, and it will definitely run better too. So if you made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button below. And of course, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button as well, because we will have more to come. And so with that, we will see you later.